If you're here, you probably heard of Dave Ramsey. And if you heard of Dave Ramsey, you probably heard of the Money Guy Show. Two of the most popular personal finance YouTube channels that together have a combined viewership of over 6 million subscribers and almost 4 billion views. Well, stay tuned because in this video, we're going to have a clash of the titans, comparing two of the most talked about financial roadmaps among the personal finance community to determine which one might be best for you. Hey everyone, this is AJ, your ace in the hole, and welcome to the channel where we simplify personal finance, providing tips for young adults, parents, and anyone else looking for some insight. And sometimes we put two of the most popular personal finance systems to a duel so that you can benefit. And if this sounds interesting, please take a quick second to click the like and subscribe button to check out lots of other content just like this. Let's start off with some quick introductions. In the left corner, we have Dave Ramsey, one of the biggest household names in personal finance. Dave is a personal finance expert, best-selling author, and radio personality who has built a small empire as CEO of Ramsey Solutions, with millions of followers across YouTube, podcasts, and radio, and is known for his simple, behavior-first, debt-free focused financial advice. His popular financial system is known as the 7 Baby Steps. In the right corner, I am so excited because we have the Money Guy Show, led by founder and best-selling author Brian Preston and his co-host Bo Hansen, who together also founded the Abound Wealth financial firm. They have one of the most rapidly growing audiences across both YouTube and the personal finance podcast community. With numerous financial certifications to their names, the Money Guys take a very pragmatic and analytical approach to their personal finance. Their financial system is known as the Financial Order of Operations, or FOO for short. Now, before we start, I want to preface this by saying that I'm a big fan of both channels. I have learned so much from each, and if you haven't already, I encourage you to check them out. But today, we are going to put these two systems head-to-head in a battle royale. So for you and the millions watching around the world, let's get ready to rumble! First, I'll do a quick run-through of each method. Then we'll compare and contrast the two, and I'll finish up by adding my 2 cents. Get it? 2 cents? Never mind. One important call out, both systems are laid out in a specific sequence, meaning they're intended to progress only once each step is accomplished, so pay close attention to the order as well. I also provided links to both of these in the description below in the event you want to investigate further. Now, let's start out with round 1, Dave Ramsey's 7 Baby Steps. As you might have figured out by now, this system contains, you guessed it, 7 steps, which all begins with baby step number 1, save $1,000 for a starter emergency fund. Now, this step is not designed to handle all emergencies, yet is meant to avoid immediately running to credit cards, which is how most people handle small emergencies. Baby step number 2 is pay off all debt except the house using the debt snowball. The debt snowball is a method by which you pay off debt from the smallest amount to the largest, regardless of the interest rate. This is based upon emotional quick wins to build momentum. And take note, as this step is a hot topic between the systems, which we'll touch on during the comparison. Baby step number 3, save 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund, is more of a rainy day fund, meant to cover essential expenses in the event of a job loss or a major emergency. Locking in this financial safety net allows you to move to baby step number 4, invest 15% of your household income in retirement. Since you're not carrying any debt at this stage besides your house, you now start putting away money towards retirement. Once you reach 15% consistently, then move on to baby step number 5, save for your children's college fund. Student loans are one of the leading causes of debt, and there are many options to help, such as 529 plans. So starting this for your kids as soon as possible is one way to avoid this. I have a full video that discusses 529 plans, which I link below. Baby step number 6, pay off your home early, is next, and is another extremely controversial topic in the personal finance space, so take note for later. But Dave adamantly suggests getting your home paid off as soon as possible, taking you to baby step number 7, build wealth and give. With no more debt, this is where you reach financial peace, socking away savings like no other time in your life. Your personal wealth compounding more than ever. So that wraps an overview of Dave Ramsey's 7 Baby Steps. Now let's move on to round 2, the Money Guy's Financial Order of Operations, the FOO, which is comprised of 9 steps versus 7. Step number 1 of the FOO is deductibles covered. This means covering your highest insurance deductible across your health, auto, home insurance, etc. This ensures that you can cover an emergency expense to the point your insurance would take over. Step number 2 is employer match. This refers to company 401k matches, which is normally dollar for dollar or 100% return on your money, something you should never pass up. Now, if you don't have access to a match program, no sweat, just move to step number 3, high interest debt. This is where you go after those credit card bills. However, this time the recommendation is that you start with the highest interest debt first, paying down to the lowest, also known as the debt avalanche method, which can be completely opposite from the earlier debt snowball method. Hint, hint. Step number 4 is emergency reserves. Just like the baby steps, this suggests accumulating 3 to 6 months of expenses to solidify an emergency fund. Step number 5 is Roth IRA and HSAs. These are the most powerful tax-free investment accounts and should be a priority if you have access to either or both. If so, contribute to the maximum each year, and if not, move on to step number 6, max out retirement. This is where you circle back to the company 401k or other retirement plan, now increasing contributions to the annual limit. From there, you're on to step number 7, hyperaccumulation. This is where you reach the point of investing 25% of your income towards retirement, really piling on savings. You might actually be able to complete step 6 and 7 simultaneously here. Step 8 is to prepay expenses. This is where you start saving for known future expenses, such as a kid's college, large trips, or a dream vacation home. And finally, step number 9 is low interest debt. In the FOO-verse, this is where you finally focus on paying off that low interest home loan or other low interest debt. The assumption being that you are making more through investing than you would have saved paying these off early. So that wraps up a quick overview of both the 7 baby steps and the FOO financial systems. I'm curious, any thoughts so far? If so, leave them in the comments below. Now let's get right into round 3, the nitty-gritty comparison. Let's start with some key similarities. Probably the most fundamental is that both are formulated around a very specific sequenced approach. Granted, in either system, you can skip a step if it doesn't apply to you personally, but neither are designed to skip around at your leisure. Each step, a methodical progression by design. Next is that both are extremely focused on establishing emergency funds early to get things rolling. In fact, both listing a basic emergency fund as step number 1. And finally, both systems clearly insist that long-term investing is essential for wealth. They might differ slightly on when to invest, but not whether you should. Now let's look at some differences, and there are a few. First up is overall philosophy. The baby steps prioritize behavior focused on emotional wins and motivating factors to drive the system forward, while the FOO is designed to maximize outcomes, using a more analytical approach to drive decisions, favoring optimization over emotional momentum. The baby steps more of a tough love approach, while the FOO using a little more financial finesse. Next, and one of the most controversial, involves debt, both in timing and focus. The baby steps requires a relentless focus on paying off all debt besides the home prior to investing, while the FOO starts with some investing prior to tackling debt. Additionally, the debt snowball versus the debt avalanche approach is a wildly debated difference within finance communities. And finally, it's no secret that the baby steps method despises credit cards to the point of recommending zero use, while the FOO suggests they can be beneficial if used responsibly. Another massive divergence in philosophy between the two. Now I'll share a few personal thoughts. But before I get into specifics, I highly recommend that either of these methods be considered very early in your financial journey, instead of later stage corrective action. I'm a firm believer that it's far easier to stay out of financial trouble than to get out of it once you're in it.
It's just theory that I happen to agree with.
For example, if you can manage to stay away from high interest debt from the beginning, then these steps become irrelevant. So for starters, I do like the FOO approach in step number 1, using your highest insurance deductible as a watermark for a basic emergency fund target. This is a very practical approach as opposed to the fixed $1,000 baby steps target, which might even be a little low considering the cost of emergency repairs or urgent healthcare these days. Either way, the point is, get something put aside to help prevent a backslide before you ever get started. I do heavily agree with the aggressive approach of the baby steps regarding debt, yet I probably land somewhere in the middle on the credit card topic. On one hand, I totally get it, and if you can navigate with 0 credit cards, do it. You will absolutely be better off financially in the long run, but if you do use credit cards, you must pay them off each month. I personally use this method to help regulate expenses. If you can't afford to do this, then you're spending beyond your means and you must throttle back spending. And as far as paying off debt, I think this is multifaceted and should involve an assessment of debt balances in conjunction with interest rates to determine the optimal paydown sequence. And this includes home mortgage loans, which is a huge area of contention between the two. While the math may always suggest hanging on to a low interest loan, providing you can earn more through investing those extra payments instead, paying off a mortgage early can remove many areas of future financial risk that may not be accounted for in the numbers. The best option, probably somewhere between the debt snowball and debt avalanche. Maybe use the debt snowdrift method instead. But probably my biggest observation when comparing the two, and the one that probably determines the right choice for you, centers on the realization that either of these financial methods are effective and there really is no distinct winner. In fact, you might even combine the two concepts to create your own personal financial system, which I'll officially call the do method. In other words, do what's best for you. After all, both systems are great and can get the job done. The key is if you just do something with purpose and not just let things happen, you can achieve financial success. So what are your thoughts now that we walk through each of these? Does either one resonate with you more? And if so, what are the key factors that stand out? Let me know in the comments below, as I'd love to hear your perspective. In the end, if you can't learn at least a little something from each of these, then you're not trying. And while there's no clear victor, there is a real winner in all of this, which is you and what you can take away. Look deeper into the baby steps and the FOO and see if either works for you. And if not, use them as guardrails to create your own system. But do something. You just need a roadmap and some discipline to get you there. Now, with all that said, I really hope you found this video helpful, and if so, be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the video reach others that might also find it useful. And if you dug this video, then I'm sure you'll like this one here. And remember, it's not how much you save, it's how early you start. This is AJ, your ace in the hole. See ya!